What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be comparing apples and oranges, almost literally. Today we're going to be comparing two completely different consoles that seem to have a fan base that wants to compare them, which there's no real reason to compare these two because they're both completely different consoles that do the same thing, play video games. So, if you excuse me, Dreamcast, for 1 second, I'm going to sit you over here so we can get a good look at the PS2, but don't worry, your time's coming. The PS2, you could sit it on its side, you could sit it on its back. This thing, when you bought it, you knew you got your money's worth. It plays DVDs, it's backwards compatible with all the PS1 titles. This thing's a monster. It's a console you can't kill. You can't kill this thing. It's still being produced and games are being made for it today in 2012. That's almost 10 years after, that's actually more than 10 years after its launch. That's crazy, huh? That's honestly crazy. That's never really happened before. This is the best-selling console of all time, and that's pretty cool. Got USB ports on the front, which is pretty high-tech for a game console at the time. If you open the back, you can insert a SATA hard drive with a adapter. And if I can grab this thing, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the camera. If you open this thing right here, let me get that open real quick. I can't seem to get it open, people. I apologize for that. I don't want to break it or anything, but basically you can insert a SATA hard drive into this thing with an adapter, and it allowed you to, I guess it was for networking. I don't know why you would need a hard drive, but this also created a lot of problems with piracy, and that's something that's whatever for me. I don't mind it because it's not really my problem. If you look on the back of it, it's got a switch which allows you to, you have to turn that on to turn the console on. I guess that was an environmental thing. I'm not 100% sure. This thing plays DVDs. That was the marketing for this thing. That was the selling point. Really cool. You could play awesome. Not only could you play awesome games like Zone of the Enders, Ratchet and Clank, Final Fantasy, but you could watch your favorite DVDs, and that's pretty cool. Also plays audio CDs, and like I said, PS1 titles. I'm going to scoot you over here, PS2, and I'm going to show everybody this Dreamcast. This thing renders textures, and I'm not even joking. The texture rendering power of this little unit is just remarkable. Released in 1998, and just the textures were outstanding. This couldn't handle as many sprites on screen as this could, but that's a minor complaint. The textures are beautiful. For something like Evolution, oh, the textures are beautiful in this game. Awesome. Also, I like disc trays like this because they're less to break. As you can see, my faceplate on this PS2 is broken, and it's probably just a matter of time before the disc tray itself has a hard time reading discs. But this will never break. Never ever. There's no real moving parts here except the stuff in here. This will last forever. You got your power switch, you're open, and this thing's a little louder, but that's not a lot to expect from something that's as powerful as this unit. It has a internet. This used the internet. I mean, this did online play. That was way before its time. This did too, but this was 2 years before the PS2, so it's pretty cool that you can compare something 2 years older to something 2 years newer, and basically they're about the same thing. This does not play DVDs, and that's fine, because it's a game system, and that's what they're for, gaming. And I don't ever expect my game systems to play DVDs or anything. I'll never complain about that in a million years. As you can see, you can insert the memory cards on the PS2, while this unit here was inserted into the controller, kind of like a memory pack for the N64 and a rumble pack. And this is pretty cool because not only is it a memory card, but it's also something you could see your stats on, something you could see your life bar, it's just a cool little screen that's really neat. And the Wii U that's coming out does something similar. So this was very much ahead of its time. This is pretty cool. The controller's actually pretty comfortable, and it looks a lot like a certain Saturn controller that was released. It was a specific type of Saturn controller with these little things right here. It's a very comfortable controller, and it looks like it's not, but it really is. Very similar to the Xbox 360 controller, which is pretty cool. And then you got the PS2 controller, which is the most comfortable controller in the world. It's a very comfortable controller. It does the job. I have nothing to complain about this controller. It's the PS1 version, which didn't have the analog sticks, was very uncomfortable actually, but once they added these, it was just perfection. Okay, so basically these two consoles, I don't see what the fighting's about. This is classic. This thing was way ahead of its time, and so was this. This thing may have won the war, but in my heart, it had never replaced the Dreamcast, because the Dreamcast was something that just did it all, and it was just an awesome console. But really, can't we all just get along, people? Seriously? Let's just get along. And I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're just going to get along. And I'm going to go play Dreamcast and PS2 on different TVs simultaneously, which is what all you should be doing. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, rate, and comment. Peace out.